We're going to do a quick tutorial about how to get an image of a pot and recreate that in Fusion. We're not going to do the little details on it today. We're just going to do the shape, and the details will be in a different tutorial. You're going to learn how to use the Revolve tool to make the outside, and you're going to learn how to use a sweep tool to make the handles. All right, it's actually pretty easy. Here is an example of a pot. We're going to do something similar. All right, so for your task, what you need to do is this. Very first thing, in a new document, you create a sketch. You click one of the faces, either one of the faces that are vertical, not the face on the bottom. Click on that. And you're going to do this to begin with. Rule a line that goes up 60, across 60, down 120, across 60, and then up 60. All right, so that's, you'll understand this in a second, but it's 120 high and 60 wide. That's because the full size of our pot will be 120 by 120 by 120. So this is just a little reference for us to use when we do the next steps. All right, so you finish your sketch. So that thing, that's so you know how big you're actually designing it. Your design has to fit inside that. All right, so our next step, click on Insert Canvas, go to your computer, and you find your image. Click on the same face. All right, you want to drag your pot so that it fits as closely inside that shape you've made as possible. If it's slightly under, that's cool. And what you want to do is make sure if it's off slightly, so that's probably off a little bit, drag it over so that it's, whoops. Gently nudge it over so it's kind of lined up. All right, there we go. So it's lined up in the center. Cool, cool beans. We know how big it is. That's all good. Alrighty. So you've got a canvas, you've got a sketch. If you want at this point, you can turn sketch 1 off. That was just there so that when we insert the picture, you know it's the right size. All right, create another sketch. Click on the same face. Very important that you start in the center here. Okay, make sure your first line, you draw a vertical line. That vertical line has to start at the origin point or that little marker in the center. All right, and now it's actually pretty easy to draw your pot shape. Making sure all the lines start on the vertical line you just drew. You're going to draw half of your pot or the profile of the pot. I'll try and do this quickly. If you were doing it for real, you'd want to spend a little more time making sure it's accurate. Don't do the handles just yet. I'm going to fudge the base a little bit. So when you use the spline tool in Fusion, you can click the little dots and move them. That's a handy thing to be aware of. And the last thing you got to make sure is that it is closed up. All right, what can I fix real quick? Alrighty. It's not perfect, but that will do. If you want, you can turn your canvas on and off so you can see what you've got. And you basically got half of a pot. Once you've got half of your pot done, click Finish Sketch. Alright, easy, cool. So, we've used the Extrude tool before. Next to the Extrude tool up the top, you've got a tool that looks like something that's been spun around. That's the Revolve tool. Click on the Revolve tool, and the Revolve tool asks you for two things. Your profile. Okay, the profile is the shape you just drew, and the axis is that line in the very center. So once you click the profile, once you click the axis, it will spin it around, and you've got something that looks like a pot shape. All right, we're not going to hollow it out now. You hollow it out at the very end. Alrighty, cool beans. So that's one tool. That's one way you can make a pot shape. If you want to do your handles though, we got to learn another tool. Handles. You've got to make 2 sketches to make your handles. The first sketch you make is this. So you click on the same face that you drew the pot on. You find your, what's this called again? Your spline tool. And you trace the line that the handle makes. Right? You trace the shape of the handle, paying attention to this point here, okay? Alright, easy peasy. Then you finish sketch. So now this is where it gets slightly confusing. You use this tool here called a sweep to create your handle. A sweep kind of works like, you've got to imagine you're working on perpendicular planes. So what that means is the shape of the handle is drawn on this face, and then what you want to do is click on the other face, so the perpendicular face, or the face that's at a right angle to it, and there you're going to make the object, like the shape that the handle will make. That's not very clear, but what can we do? Alright, and another fiddly thing is this. You have to click on the shape you've made and move it so that it starts at the start of the path. Cool? Alright, easy. And then sweep, profile. The profile is that shape. The path is that shape. Okay. And you've got your handle. Alright, what else do we need to do though? Yeah, do it on the other side. Right, and to do it on the other side, we're going to use a mirror tool, the mirror tool. What you need to use the mirror tool to mirror the handle is to make an object that will be a reference object. So this is what I do when I make a reference object. Doesn't matter, whoops. Whoa. All right, so when you make a reference object, you go like this. You click sketch, you click, Fusion's just crashed. Oh no. Oh, good. Let's finish that. Let's try again. All right, let's try that again. To make a reference, create a new sketch, click the ground plane. And what you want to do is start in the very center and you just make a random little shape like this. Make sure your bodies, if your bodies are turned on, when you extrude this, you make a new body. All right, you don't want it to join. If it doesn't say new body, it will either cut or it will join, and all those three things will become one big object. All right, but now you can type S for search, mirror. Here's your mirror menu. You've got the types of things to mirror. So you want to mirror a body. That is your body. Body number 2 is your body. And the mirror plane is on that reference body you just made. Click on that. Make sure it says new body. And you will have like a copy of the handle moved to the other side in the exact same spot. All right, once your handles and things are done, up the top you've got combine. Click. Select all. Whoops, we don't want to select that one. I might move this up here. Combine. So you've got the two squares mashed together. Combine them all. It becomes one single thing. All right, so at the very end, once you're all done, we're going to do a quick trick to hollow out our pot and make it look good. So, one last time, we're going to do this. Create a sketch. Click on the same face that you begin with. And what we're going to do is copy what we've done. So, we're going to select that first sketch we made. All right, so sketch number 2 was the sketch you drew the pot profile on. You're going to go to sketch number 2, make sure it's turned on, select them, go Control C, Control V. And what that's done is pasted them into your most recent design, okay, your most recent sketch. Oh, let's try that again actually. Select. Control C, Control V, enter. All right, so you've got, in this sketch now, you've got that shape. You've got this offset button. Let's do some tidying up real quick. Oh, let's try that again. Offset. Alrighty. So there you go, that you've got an offset of +1. You're going to change that to a negative number. So there's going into the pot. Then you put a top on it. You put a bottom on it. You rule a line in the very center. Alrighty, finish that sketch. And what you've got is like this profile that's now slightly thinner than the shape of the pot. Click on that profile, click Revolve. I made one stupid mistake, but I can fix that. So you've hollowed it out by using the Revolve tool and setting it to cut. I did a really stupid thing down the bottom here. I wasn't thinking. That inside shape was too long. So let's just go to edit, find sketch, your most recent sketch, edit that sketch. And what I'm going to do is this. Add a line here. And then I'm going to trim off this. And if I edit my sketch and it works, I can just click Finish Sketch. It will do its thing again. And I'll be left with a pot with a bottom on it. Alrighty, so that is actually pretty easy to make a pot, right? Then you can add your materials. You can make it look like something cool. Right? That's how we do a pot. Alright, I have emailed you a copy of this pot photo. You're going to try and do this yourselves. You have to, first thing, remember, set the right sizes, insert your picture, then trace. Alright, see if you can do that.